You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic.
Some people around the NFL were actually shocked that the Chicago Bears selected Rome Odunze with the number 9 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of KIEQ on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, make sure you also do me a huge favor by also liking today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic. That will help the channel out so much. So, Bears fans, as we all know, Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears struck gold by getting not only Caleb Williams, but also selecting wide receiver Rome Odunze in the 2024 NFL Draft. It is still a dream come true that Ryan Poles was able to get both of those guys, as both of those players are going to help the Chicago Bears win right away. But leading up to the 2024 NFL Draft, we all knew that the Bears were going to select Caleb Williams with the number 1 overall pick, but there was a lot of intrigue on what Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears wanted to do with the second first-round pick they had in the NFL Draft. And there was a lot of people speculating that, the Bears would play it safe and select someone in the trenches like a defensive lineman or maybe an offensive tackle. So when the Bears and Ryan Poles actually selected Rome Odunze, wide receiver out of Washington, one NFL executive expressed surprise to Mike Sando of The Athletic that Poles was willing to deviate from Chicago's typical behavior to get their young quarterback another weapon. This one executive had this to say: cases were also made for selecting another lineman on either side of the ball. Chicago already has tackles, so to take a lineman in the top 10 who is going to start out at guard versus the receiver who is clean as a whistle, a proven playmaker at a position that has gone up into the $32 million range, I would have gone with Odunze as well, one exec said. Bears fans, first and foremost, I am so glad that Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears selected wide receiver Rome Odunze out of Washington, and it was a wise investment for the Chicago Bears organization for several reasons. I didn't know this until I actually read an article, but we need to keep in mind that the Chicago Bears have taken a first-round receiver with their first-round quarterback twice in modern franchise history. The first time they did it was when they selected Willie Gault in 1983, a year after drafting Jim McMahon, and then taking Wendell Davis in 1988 after taking Jim Harbaugh in 1987. So the Chicago Bears have only got their young rookie quarterback, a star wide receiver in NFL draft, twice in the modern era. That is absolutely crazy when you break that down, Bears fans. Here's the crazy part, Bears fans. Since 1987, they have followed Cade McNown with Brian Urlacher, Rex Grossman with Tommy Harris, and Mitch Trubisky with Roquan Smith, and didn't have a first-round pick after picking Justin Fields, of course. And don't get me wrong, Bears fans, when you look at it, Roquan Smith, outstanding player. Tommy Harris, one of the Bears' greats. And then Brian Urlacher, Hall of Fame Chicago Bears. So I understand why the Chicago Bears went onto the defensive side of the ball. Those are all great Chicago Bears. But when you don't get your young quarterback a weapon, you take the risk that your quarterback is not going to have a go-to guy. When you look at Justin Fields, failed as a Chicago Bear. When you look at Mitch Trubisky, failed as a Chicago Bear, right? So, of course, Brian Urlacher, Tommy Harris are all great defensive Chicago Bears, Hall of Famers, right? But you obviously take that risk that your quarterback doesn't have that go-to guy as well. Like, for example, Bears fans, when the Chicago Bears picked Mitchell Trubisky back in 2017, in 2018, would his career have been different in Chicago if they took DJ Moore or Calvin Ridley in 2018, some of the top receivers in that 2018 NFL draft? And this is why it's so interesting, because the Bears have really had a trend when it comes to drafting quarterbacks early on in NFL drafts and not pairing them with stud wide receivers that can help them develop in Chicago. So that's why it's nice to see that Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears have finally broke that trend. Once again, Brian Urlacher, Tommy Harris are some of the Bears' all-time greats. But I'm finally happy that Ryan Poles and Chicago Bears kind of broke that trend and gave Caleb Williams a stud wide receiver in Rome Odunze. We all know about Rome Odunze, a big-bodied wide receiver with excellent hands who can be money for Caleb Williams on third downs. And then you pair him with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. It's going to be a beautiful situation in Chicago. So Bears fans, long story short, for the first time in Chicago Bears history, it feels like a Bears quarterback in Caleb Williams is finally set up for long-term success. And I know we've talked about it so much here on the podcast that Ryan Poles and the Bears organization did a really good job of surrounding Caleb Williams with as much weapons as possible in order for him to succeed not only this year, but for years to come. He is going to develop along with Odunze. He already has some solid veterans in DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, right, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, an improving offensive line, a top 10 defense going into next season. This is going to be a beautiful situation. And to me, Caleb Williams has no excuse. Ryan Poles has finally did it the right way, and multiple GMs for the Chicago Bears have failed to do this. Once again, they took the best player available. Obviously, it worked out for Brian Urlacher. It worked out for Tommy Harris, right? I'm happy that the Chicago Bears took those defensive studs. But for the first time ever in Chicago Bears history, Ryan Poles valued developing the quarterback the right way, because the Bears have never had a franchise quarterback, and he is hoping that Caleb Williams can be that first franchise quarterback for years to come for the Chicago Bears, and he has set up Caleb Williams for long-term success. So I just wanted to come on here really quick and share that bit of history with you guys for the Chicago Bears, because it is truly shocking that the Chicago Bears only have done that twice, and meaning picking a stud wide receiver with their young rookie quarterback in the modern era. But Ryan Poles finally got it right by taking Odunze with Caleb Williams in the 2024 NFL Draft. So overall, Bears fans, before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears got it right by selecting Odunze with the number 9 overall pick? Or do you think Ryan Poles should have stuck with the normal Chicago Bears trend by picking a defensive player to pair with our young quarterback? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of KIEQ on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for our all-new Bears podcast right here on KIEQ on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You've been listening to KIEQ on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.